dive right into today's topics of building your business through duplication. So, what does it look like to duplicate your business and how you can duplicate it with the tools and the systems that we have already in place? Isn't it much easier in life to just plug into a proven system and do what other people have done to get what they have versus trying to create your own? Has anyone ever tried to create policies and procedures or step-by-steps programs where you didn't have anything to go off of? It's like, okay, your own experience, right? For me, I can say that that's happened to me as a coach when I taught T-ball. You know, I just knew that the military installation I was stationed on was looking for T-ball coaches for little kids to coach them, and there was no manual or script that I got. They're just like, we need volunteers, and I was like, okay, I'll volunteer, and I showed up. And I didn't realize that these 5 and 6 year olds didn't know how to play baseball, right? Other than hitting the ball off the stick, they didn't know what to do afterwards, whether they should run to the third base or to the first base or to the second base. It was a mess. And I just had to learn along the way and, coach them along the way. But here in Viago and in this business, we have a proven system. We have a step-by-step structure that will lead you to showing up, that will lead you to developing the skills, that will lead you to applying the skills, because it's one thing to learn them, but if you're not applying them, then you're really not going to go very far. Okay. And as I said earlier, success comes by just showing up, because you're eventually going to realize that you're going to hear the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. And a lot of times you won't even hear it from me as a leader that is moving this team forward, but you'll hear it from another leader and realize that, wow, this is something I never heard from before, heard about before. And because it came from somebody else, you're now more aligned to applying it in your business. And that just comes from knowing that you're not a prophet in your own land. For those that have kids, you probably can relate. You teach your kids and you discipline your kids and you try to raise them the best you can, but one day they come home from school or from another parent's home and they tell you something you've been teaching them the last 6 years and they start implementing it and you're like, what? I've been teaching you this and now you're finally adapting it and applying it. Shelly's like, yeah, I get that. I was there. It's the same thing. And I say that because a lot of you guys here have teams, and it's very important for you to plug your teams in with the program, with the process, with the system in place, because they're not going to always get it from you. And just like you're not always going to get it from me. And that's why we don't just promote our team calls. We promote all of the stuff that is available, because something somewhere along the lines in growing this business is going to capture your attention and you're going to have this light bulb click on, right? So a lot of times you're just sitting in the dark and you're like not sure what to do and you're like, where do I go? Where do I go? And then all of a sudden you show up to an event and you're like, oh my gosh, the light just turned on and I got it. And you start implementing it and you start seeing your team growing and you're like, why didn't I do this all along? And it's crazy how life works that way, but just have an understanding. And I remember exactly, as you're listening to me, going through that same thing where I would go to an event after an event after an event, and I would hear the same people saying the same things that, just one day it hit them and they exploded. This one young man in particular talked about how this bamboo tree, for example, takes 90 days to make this little sprout. Like you have this soil, right? And underneath the soil is all of the roots growing and growing. And in 90 days, you see this little tree pop up right here, right? This little stem, like what? It took 90 days to water it and mentor this plant. And in 90 days, that's all you get. But you don't realize that underneath the soil is this massive root that's growing, right? If you ever seen, a great analogy also is an iceberg. You only see at the tip of the water the small iceberg sticking out, and you're like, oh, that's a cute little iceberg. But underneath the surface is this huge, giant ice block, right? Which happened to the Titanic, if you know the story of the Titanic. Okay. Same thing with your business. All of these times that you show up, yep, there we go. Pull it back a little. There you go. Matt's got it pulled up on his phone, this huge iceberg, right? And it's no different than in your business. You're constantly developing, you're constantly learning, you're constantly implementing, and it could be like, wow, this is not working. I don't know why, but for the last 60 days, 6 months, a year, I've been showing up and I've been doing the work, and it's just not developing. And as I said, time after time, event after event, I would show up to these events and I'd be like, yeah, that's good for you. Speaking to the leader who's talking about one day it showed up for this business. And I remember precisely saying, yeah, in my head, right? Yeah, this is good for you, but that's never going to happen to me. In my head, this is what's happening. Like, that's never going to happen to me. And I had been around for a good 15, 18 months at this point. And this trainer in particular talked again about this bamboo tree, and how one day and within 90 days, it went from this little root, this little stem, to becoming this beautiful tree in 90 days. And it grew drastically. And again, in my head, as he was training this, I'm like, yeah, that I'm so happy for you. And I truly was. I'm very happy to watch other people become successful. But I had this limiting belief that it would never happen to me. Does anyone feel that way? And you don't have to raise your hand, but I did. And if you feel that way, I want you to know you're not alone. And it sucks. It sucks so much to the point that I'm almost tearing up, because that limiting belief is holding you back from really knowing your true potential. And that limiting belief that you have for yourself is going to continue to hold you back until you say, you know what? I am worthy. I can do it. I will succeed. Because the power of your tongue is everything. It's life or death. And if you believe that you can, or if you believe that you can't, guess what? You're both right. So why not just believe that you can? And if you don't have that belief, believe that I believe in you. And when you hear that doubt tell you, I'm not worthy, I can't, who do I think I am? I came from a family of welfare. I grew up on food stamps. I had to pay in Monopoly money to buy groceries when my mom sent me to the grocery store as a kid. Like, who do I believe that I can be a successful entrepreneur working for myself? I have no right. And that is actually not even true at all. It's just this negative force that is keeping you away from success, because that is its ultimate goal, is to stop you from succeeding, is to stop you from becoming your best potential. Lorena said it best in the chat: borrow someone else's belief until you get it yourself. And if I didn't believe in you, I wouldn't have these calls. Let's just keep it real. I could spend an hour inviting versus trying to express to you all of the things that I've learned to develop your skills so that you can believe. I have these calls so that you can plug in and gain the understanding that it is possible. And it takes work. It takes practice. I'm not here to tell you that I'm always thinking positive and what's available for my life, because that's just not the case. There are many times I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh, where did that extra handle come from on my stomach? Right? Or where did that cellulite show up? Or how come I just enrolled this person and they quit a few days later? Like, what did I lack? So I also have this limiting belief of what's possible, but I'm also trained and now conditioned to understand, to recognize it. And that's the first step, is recognizing the limiting beliefs that you have in your life so that you can say, stop, that is not true. Because it is written that we are allowed to live in full abundance in this life, and that we have access, especially if you're living here in America, you have full access of freedom of speech and the ability to achieve your greatest potential. And this industry produces more first-time millionaires than any other industry in the world. So your potential of creating financial freedom in this company versus anything else that you will probably do in your life is more likely here than anything else. So you show up and you do the work and you apply yourself. And one thing that I absolutely love and what I fell in love with most and foremost is the people. And the reason was and is to this day is because I found people that were willing to help me in this business achieve my goals and my dreams without any financial advice, or excuse me, financial gain whatsoever. And I felt as if they were willing to help me in anything and everything in my life, not just building Viago, but building a healthier lifestyle, building a great relationship with my spouse. And at the time I didn't have a spouse, how to find a great spouse and how to know how to be able to live by the standards of what that spouse should live by in order to treat me the way I want to be treated. Because growing up in a single parenthood and watching my mom be married 4 or 5 times, I didn't have the greatest advice. Okay, I didn't know how to be a great wife because I had no one to look up to and lead me in that arena. But the people here did. And anytime I had questions or needed help in any arena in my life, they were willing to support me. And that's what I loved most. So when they told me, Melanie, all you got to go do is follow the footsteps and do the things that we did in order for you to succeed in this business, you're going to do it. So I didn't try to create my own way or my own procedures or my own little spice to it. Okay. I just did what they told me to do. And guess what eventually happened? I got what they got. And what I wanted was the lifestyle, the ability to world school my children like Matt Morris does, the ability to live in a beautiful home like Jeff and Cindy both, the ability to drive nice cars like Muzaffar does, the ability to get on a plane and have your children have 8 passport stamps before they're even 2, like Jesse McPherson. The ability to live in beautiful condos in San Diego like the twins. This is the lifestyle I wanted. And guess what? My mom, my dad, and all my military friends were not living that lifestyle. So what did I do? I just said, what do I got to do? I remember exactly the moment I was like, whatever it takes, just tell me. I was literally like, just tell me what to do. And that was in January 2012 after a national event. And I was like crying in my hotel room with my upline, with my leadership. And I was like, please just tell me what to do. And I'm going to go do it. And you know what their answer was? You just got to go do it. You have everything you need. Everything is laid out for you. And what does that look like? The duplication process is showing up. You're here tonight, every Sunday, 6 o'clock. Don't book anything else. I have this call aligned with you. I don't book anything else on top of it. I don't care if somebody wants to learn about Viago. I don't care if somebody wants to do an onboarding. I don't care if somebody's ready to book a trip or the next event. I don't do it on Sundays at 6 o'clock Eastern because I have a team call. I say, okay, show up to the team call. We'll do it after. I also don't do it on Tuesdays at 9 Eastern because that is the time that we do training with the top leaders. If you have guys that have made over 6 figures a month, 6 figures a month teaching you the steps, the ins and outs and the trainings and what that looks like, then why wouldn't you show up? Why wouldn't you show up? And not only on Tuesdays, but on Saturdays, after their 12:30 presentation from, again, one of the top earners, they're going to do a 1 p.m. Eastern membership training. So if you don't know how to log into your account and use your products and your services and access, what's available for you, then you need to show up to that stuff because you should be a product of your product. The one thing I regret in my business not doing sooner was going on a trip. And to this day, I have great friends that I met on my very first trip, like Shelly. On my very first trip, I got to meet this beautiful soul, and now we're working together, and we've been friends ever since. And that was probably since 2000 and 12, 13. It was my first trip. So it took me 2
Yep.
years on my first trip. And the reason why is because of military life, right? I was held back, but still that's no excuse. I should have gone and experienced a trip sooner so that you can gain the belief in what you have. And when you go on a trip and you realize what you have and you're like come back from that trip, not only are you going to be able to elude and share it with other people, it's going to like melt off you the excitement and the belief in what you have. And people are going to join just off of that because the excitement and the belief of the quality and the price and the savings and the value that you're getting from these trips. So again, showing up is the most important thing that you can do for your business, but also implementing the tools. The more you implement the tools, the more success you're going to have. And one of those tools that we use is our weekly result sheets. So I'm going to share my screen with you so you can see what we're talking about. These weekly result sheets are documents that I paid a lot of money for, okay? Because at one point in my business, I was just doing what they said, but not having a system in place with our team to create the duplication that it would take to build a massive team. So I hired a coach. A lot of you may know her, Kelly Aceta, and she taught me how she used these documents to build teams of hundreds of thousands of people around the world. And there's only 3 documents, okay? The first one is our weekly result sheets. I use this document to track the people that I'm talking to on a weekly basis. So if you don't have a document that you're using to track the people that you're talking to on a weekly basis, then you don't have a follow-up system. And this is what mine looks like. Okay. I talk to a lot of people, so I put an extra column down the middle. So instead of 20 columns, I have 40. And I take little notes next to the people that I'm talking to. So you have a names list, and that's great. And you can annotate on there, but this is even better to track the people you're talking to, because what's most important about inviting is the follow-up. 85% of people need to see something 7 to 14 times before saying yes. And this is your follow-up tool. So I literally have hundreds of these since I've hired her to follow up with all these people. There's only 2 things to get good at: inviting and promoting. This is your inviting list of people that you've talked to. And the more you follow up, the more money you're going to make. The fortune is in the follow up. So if you're not using this, use something to track who you're talking to so you can follow up. Okay. And then of course you can fill it out as much or as least as you want. But these are tools that will help create duplication in your business. The next one, I'm gonna skip over this one because I'm gonna go over that last, is the people at training. The second thing to get good at, besides inviting and follow-ups, is promoting. So everyone that I talk to about the Viago socials, I talk to about going to Cabo, the regionals, playbook, Dubai, is all tracked on these documents. Promoting. So what are you promoting? Are you promoting the trips? Are you promoting the events? These are your tools to promote and follow up with those that have either not booked or they're waiting to book their next event or trip. Inviting and promoting. So 2 things that you need to get really good at. And these are the tools to use to duplicate your business. And if you've done an onboarding with me, this last document is a Salesforce tracker to track the people that are building the business with you. Getting to know a little bit about their personal life, because we are a family ship, helping them do onboardings with their first 6 people, knowing what their why is, which is very important, because you will come across a time in your business, guaranteed, that you will want to quit. And knowing why somebody is building this is very important to keep them back on track. And it can't just be, I want financial freedom and I want to travel the world with my family. Everybody wants that. And if that were the case, you would have it by now. Why do you want to have financial freedom? Why do you want to world school your children? You need to dig deep. And that's why we say, ask your sponsee, the person you enrolled, 7 times. Why do you want that? So you just heard me say it twice. Shelly and I did an amazing, powerful why exercise that you can find on my YouTube channel. And if you can't find it, let me know. I'll send it to you, on understanding your why and asking yourself and digging deep. And as you can see, what you're, finding out what their availability is. And then again, going through the important calls that we host on a weekly basis. Not to mention tracking their progress along their journey in our business. So usually on their onboarding call, I do the first 10, making sure they're set up on Telegram, recognizing them, hosting their next events, their list, understanding the duplication process of how we build and repeat our business through inviting, showing, enrolling, and educating. Great tools like elitesynergysystem.com and the getting started sheet. If you've never seen this website, again, this is another great tool that our teams use as a whole. So we'll go here really quick and type it in so you can see it. elitesynergysystem.com. And it's there for you to teach your team what is available and how to stay plugged in. Creating duplication. So our next events, right at the top, 101 days, getting started, the inner circle, which is your audios, 24/7. You have access to these audios that you can listen to. I listen to every week. Okay, the last ones we just listened to were the testimonies, the 3 testimonies that are available in the how-to section. And then, of course, the getting started. So anytime somebody joins, I tell them to go print out this Elite Synergy System onboarding document so that they have something that they can hold and track for their business. Okay. So who's their support team, their phone numbers, again, their committed hours availability to building their business, their websites, and their schedule, along with the information we just discussed. Not to mention the compensation plan and their list of people that they're going to share this with. If you've never seen this, you don't know about it, go and print it out, fill it out as if you just got started today, so that when you enroll somebody, you know where to go and you have the ability to help them become successful right away. Okay. Going back to the weekly result sheets, we talk about their first 6 confirmed appointments. So you want to coach them on inviting. We have the inviting scripts again in the Telegram pinned messages, and it's very simple. The less you say, the better it is. The more results you're going to have. And it's as simple as, hey, Shelly, I'm super excited. I have a huge project I want to share with you. Are you available today or tomorrow? That's it. All right. Especially as you're just getting started. Hey, Bree, I know we've been friends for a long time. I haven't talked to you in a while, but I have a huge announcement I want to share with you. Are you available today or tomorrow? Okay. If you're like me and you've gone through all of your lists and you've shown everybody, then you should probably have a bunch of business cards like I do from networking. And it's just the verbiage is a little different with the people you don't know. And you can express to that person as you call them, maybe you got their card a year ago, 2 years ago, and you never called, or you've called and you're following up, and you can just say, hey, I got your card. I don't know what you're up to lately. I'm the director of expansion of a company that's exploding across the world. And we have met. As we met, you definitely have the qualities we're looking for. Do you keep your income options open? You see how the invite is very different for people I don't know versus I do know? Okay. So we'll do another inviting call here soon so that you can get acquainted to the different types of inviting. But almost everybody you talk to that you do know, it's, hey, I have a huge project I'm working on. Hey, we're best friends. I need to come over. Are you available tonight or tomorrow? And if you haven't talked to them in a while, you just state the obvious. Hey, I know I haven't seen you since high school. I hope you're doing well. I would love to catch up with you. And I'm working on a really cool project I want to run by you. Is today or tomorrow good? So it's pretty much the same invite, but it depends who I'm talking to. It depends on the language you normally use, right? Okay. And then, of course, understanding that there's a lot of great books to read. Our Freedom Alliance Mastermind reads Think and Grow Rich every single week. If you were at the last event in Elevate in Ohio, you probably heard Muzaffer talk about the desires and the plans, the 6 steps in this book on the very first chapter of creating a desire and a plan, and literally being able to think and grow rich through the concept here in this book. So always be developing your skills as a network marketer, as an affiliate marketer, as an influencer. All right, booking a trip, activating your binary on your insight leg, becoming a leader, doing your affirmations. All right, all this is here for you to track when we continue to work with your team. And that's it. That's really it, you guys. There's not much more that you need to plug into other than the live events that we have coming up December 4th to the 8th in Cabo, which is going to be a ton of fun, or our next national event that's happening on January 14th to the 16th. And then one other thing that we haven't really talked about a lot lately, which is our very next event. Does anyone know what that is? Our very, very next event.
RTE, right?
RTE in Wisconsin.
RTE in November.
Our regional training event. Yes.
Yeah.
So if you'd like to attend in person, it's happening on November 1st in Wisconsin. You can go to viagoevents.com and get your ticket. But if you're like me, I'm going to host a watch party here in my city. So we can have people that are local to the city, like Thomas. I hope you're going to be here in town. You can come to my house, and our new ambassador just got started, Angelica, to be able to come here and watch it together at my house, making it more of a experience versus just watching it by yourself. Because isn't life always better when you're with other people?
Absolutely.
It should be, especially when you're hanging around the right people. So if you did get your regional ticket, I have not tracked those yet. Please put in the comments or unmute yourself so that I can track who got their ticket, and reach out. Again, this is your business, promoting events, promoting trips. So I see Casalina got hers, and we'll do the recognition here coming up because that will be our next event. And then after that event, we'll do recognition for Playbook. Matt got his, awesome. And Missy as well.
I think
Matt?
I have mine. I'm going to do it virtually.
Okay, Barbara got hers, awesome. So again, what I'm doing is creating I just writing everything out on this regional training sheet so that if I know that Angela didn't get her ticket yet, I can call her and follow up with her to get her ticket, right? To help support her in her business. So if you haven't gotten your ticket yet, please do so that you can stay plugged in. I'm very excited. If you haven't heard, Sherry Sharman is doing the training, and Sherry Sharman actually retired herself from the industry because at one point she was making 6 figures, over $100,000 a month. Okay. And when she met our community and she saw the opportunity to travel and earn residual income, she actually just purchased a franchise over $1 million, probably a few months prior to seeing what we're doing in Viago. And she's like, oh my gosh, I'm doing Viago. She had a meeting with her son and her husband and said, you guys are in charge of the business, the franchise, and I'm going to go build Viago. She's going to literally teach us how she's been able to create a 6-figure a month income on November 1st. So I am very excited to learn from her because I've never done 6 figures a month. And if you've never done 6 figures a month, then why wouldn't you be there? Right? Yay! Jennifer just got hers. Awesome, Jennifer. If you did buy the pack at Elevate and you bought the bundle pack, you're regional. So just make sure that if you bought that, you know that you have that ticket already. Okay. So if you bought it and you didn't realize it came with that, let me know so that we can promote it to somebody else and they can pay you for your ticket. Okay. Because I think you bought the bundle, right, Jennifer? Pretty sure you did. All right. With that being said, we have a few more minutes. As you can see, that is the duplication process. Your onboarding, the weekly result sheets, the Elite Synergy System, the Viago Inner Circle, coming to the events, inviting and promoting. That's it, you guys. There's not much more to it. Becoming successful is not hard. It just takes consistent effort. We read in the Think and Grow Rich book last week or the week before talking about how success is very timid and shy. Because if it was outgoing, everybody could get it, right? If it was easy, everybody would be financially successful, and that's just not the case. You got to go get it. It's timid. Success and financial freedom is timid and shy, whereas being poor is ruthless and easy. It's easy to do nothing, which is why most people do it. And that's why most people are not financially free, because it's easy to be that way. So knowing that you're showing up here in your business and just implementing the stuff that we teach you is going to help you gain the success and the goals that you want. So are there any questions, comments?
That's a great overview, Melanie.
Yeah, thank you, Mel.
You're welcome, Barbara, Matt, Jen. My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. If you gained something, you're welcome, Brandy. No problem. If you thought this was a very powerful call, please let me know so we can add it to our YouTube channel and you can just constantly watch it and be reminded. Thank you, Lorena. I love you all.
I would put it on YouTube, Melanie.
Yeah.
Love you,
Okay,
Mel.
will do. Love you, Kathleen. Love you all. Thanks, Phil. Thanks, Lorena. Enjoy your week. Have a
You
productive,
too.
successful
Great
week.
call, Melanie. It was awesome. Love
you.
you all.
Love
Love
you,
y'all. Love
Shelly.
y'all.
Thank you.
See y'all
Bye,
next week.
y'all.
See y'all in
See you
Cabo.
next week.
Yes.
See you in Cabo. Bye, Barbara.
Bye, honey.
Bye, Russell. Bye, V. Bye, John.
Yes.
Bye, Bree.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Thomas. Bye, Will.
Yeah.
Have a good night, everybody. Ciao.
Good night.
Ciao.